That one meant mo money, mo problems. Hey there, dudes! Welcome to the 4th episode of How to Get Started on YouTube and Other Social Media. This one's going to deal with how to make money off of social media, which I know is a very taboo topic, but it shouldn't be, and I'm going to tell you why. But first, let's jump right into it, and I'm going to tell you the ways in which you can make money off of social media. The very first one that I can think of being YouTube AdSense earnings. The second one I can think of being paid or sponsored promotional type posts or videos. And then I'm gonna put a third category that basically is everything else. Paid appearances, events, trips, selling merchandise, all the miscellaneous. What is this? What is this? I'm like directing planes on a runway. Let's dive into those three. So YouTube AdSense earnings. If you don't know what AdSense is, it's a fancy way for saying you get paid for ads that are on your YouTube videos. YouTube pays you once a month with money that you've collected over the ads put on your videos. They look like the ones that probably already popped up down here that you've probably already clicked out of, and it also looks like the videos that play in the beginning of YouTube videos. It's usually 30 seconds long and you can't skip it, or it's longer and you can skip it. Those things make you money. And the way to do that on your channel is to set your videos to monetized. I'll put some instructions somewhere on the screen to tell you where to find the monetize option. You can find it several ways, I believe. But maybe not, we'll find out. This is a good way to earn money because you can start making money very early on with your videos. I don't think it always used to be this way, but I do believe that now, as soon as you make a YouTube channel, you are eligible to monetize your videos, which means that you could start making money theoretically right away. But don't get too excited because it's going to take quite a lot of views and quite a lot of time usually to start seeing any kind of significant checks in the mail. I don't think they even mail out any checks until you've reached a $100 threshold, or at least that's what it was like when I first started YouTube. It might take you 9 months to earn $100, in which case you're not going to see a check for 9 months. So keep that in mind. I didn't start making a decent amount of money for the first year that I was doing any kind of Instagram, YouTube, social media activities, and it took even longer to be able to cover all of my bills, especially in such an expensive city like LA. So as I mentioned in the last video, time is a very valuable resource in the social media world, and it can be done with some patience and hard work and some time. A downside of AdSense is that it fluctuates a ton in terms of what your earnings are from month to month, and there's pretty much no way to predict it. So if you're the kind of person that wants to, I don't know, plan their life and their expenses and make a budget for themselves on what they can afford each month and how they can afford to live, it's difficult to do off of YouTube AdSense alone. What the? Do you see all this hair? Oh my wig must be falling apart because there's that's not okay. I'm not going to pretend to understand exactly how it works. What I do know is that it is different for every YouTuber and it changes within the experience of every YouTuber, meaning what I'm making for ads today is probably not going to be the same tomorrow or next month. So many factors go into it, which by now you should know is a running theme of social media. For example, my YouTube AdSense earnings are the highest around Halloween and following Halloween because 50% of my videos suddenly become very relevant to most people's lives and they are searched for a lot more when people are looking for Halloween costumes. All of my views go up, all my stats go up, my subscribers go up around that time, and then my AdSense earnings usually stay pretty high around there because a lot of advertisers are using YouTube to advertise their products around the holidays when people are spending money. People stop spending a lot of money post-holidays, which means advertisers are not going through YouTube quite as much. Therefore, there are usually less ads on your videos. Halloween is no longer around for me, and then earnings go way back down. What I'm making around Halloween is 4 times more than what I'm making currently in this month of March. That is a very, very big difference, and that is why if you're going to be making a living off of these kinds of things, you need to take into consideration. It is not consistent, it is not steady pay, and it is not very predictable. So that's just one example of how YouTube fluctuates even for me personally. But I do like that way to make money because all I have to do is make the content that I want to make exactly how I want to make it, and I don't have anyone telling me that I need to do a certain thing to earn the money, other than to follow YouTube's guidelines. which is easy enough. The second option I mentioned does not allow you that freedom, and that is paid sponsorships or posts or videos or whatever. Companies can pay you to promote their product or service on YouTube, Vine, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat even. Every platform you can think of. You name it, there is a market for it. What's going on in this option is that a company approaches you and they say that I'd like you to talk about our service or our product, feature it so that it gets out to your audience, and we will pay you in return. That's the gist of them. If you follow anyone on YouTube or Instagram that's got a pretty significant following, I would almost guarantee you've seen a sponsored post at least once in your life. You just might not know it. You are legally required now to disclaim when you are doing a sponsored video or post, but a lot of people still often miss it. I know that now some of you are probably thinking about videos of mine you've seen where I've raved about a product and you're thinking, aha! That was a sponsored video. Well, you'd be wrong, I haven't done any yet. But I am going to start doing them because I have nothing against them, but that's just because up until this point I've been very cautious about entering into any agreements or partnerships with companies because it took me a very long time to feel like I knew enough about this to start entering into legal contracts, which we gonna talk about a lot in the last video. This is not my main source of revenue. YouTube AdSense is my bulk of my earnings, but in my experience, that is not the same for most other YouTubers that I know, at least in the makeup community. I know a lot of people make the bulk of their earnings off of sponsored videos. In case you still don't understand what these look like, on YouTube, it's basically someone showing a product and saying, this is what I'm using. It could be more elaborate where they talk about the product in depth for several minutes. They explain how to use it, they explain different, kind of talking points about it. Or it could simply just be using it, just showing it, just putting it in the description box. It varies in terms of how involved it's going to be. And then on Instagram, it might just look like, I'm wearing this, tag company here. And that's it. Sometimes people get paid just to literally tag a company in the photo, not even to mention it in the caption. These rates vary quite a bit, depending on a lot of factors like your audience size, the engagement of that audience, the degree to which you are promoting something. Are you just tagging it? Are you talking about it in length? Are you posting about it once or over a series of videos or posts? Rates also change over time, so any rate that I could give you now would only be specific to my audience, my engagement levels, and the time frame in which I'm making this video. But when you do start making money off of social media and you start wondering what is a fair price for this kind of promotion, my best advice is to make friends in the YouTube community that you can talk to very comfortably and talk to them about what the promotional market is like at the time. Another great way to know what the market is like at the time is to have a manager or an agent, someone who can kind of navigate that all with you, which I'm going to talk more about in my last video when we get into contracts and MCNs. And MCN is also another great way to not have to worry about the actual money side of things and you just do the creative side of things. But more or less, promoting things is going to come down to all those factors and the timing, and you're just going to want to ask the resources that are available close to you at the time. The perk of these is that they can pay very well once you've got an established audience. Usually these kinds of things start out by doing it for free in trade deals where you trade promotion for products, which we're going to talk about. But like I said, when you've grown a big audience that is well engaged or you're promoting it at length, these things can pay into the thousands of dollars, which I'm sure some would argue is absurd. And to that I say, I think it depends, because you also need to remember that when you become a social media influencer to any degree, even if that's just you being completely yourself and saying what you like and dislike, that is still valuable advertising to a brand. And advertising costs money. The amount it costs to run a 30-second ad during the Super Bowl would make your jaw drop if you don't already know what it is. So social media in a lot of ways is the newest form of advertising for a lot of companies. I think the perk of that is that this advertising, at least one could hope, if you can trust the content creator, is that it is 100% genuine and honest advertising, which is not something you would necessarily get on a billboard controlled entirely by the company paying for it. So how do you start getting into sponsored posts? Because like I mentioned for YouTube AdSense, it's very easy to get started on that. You click yes to monetize your videos, and the ball is rolling to make money on that. For sponsored videos and posts, it's different. To even open this world to you, the first thing you're probably going to have to do is promote some things for free. This is not the case all the time, but I would say, especially in the makeup community, that's how it's going to start for most people. What'll happen is when you start to gain a footing with a small audience, companies will start reaching out to you and they'll say, hey, would you like to try our products? If you'd like to try our products, would you mind posting about them and sharing your experience with them, or just tagging us to say that you're wearing our products? And this is a very exciting thing when it first happens. It was super exciting for me, because I didn't even know that people would send stuff for free, and I certainly didn't even know that you could make money off of social media. So this was a whole new world to me when it first came up. As your audience grows bigger, you will start to get offered to get paid to do the exact same thing, and that is because your advertising then becomes more valuable to the company, because it in turn will make them money for you to talk about their product. When you start getting offers to get paid, they are probably going to be small, because one of the biggest factors, as I mentioned before, is going to be audience size and the level of engagement that you have with your audience. So if you're essentially promoting a product to 60,000 followers, you are probably going to get offered to be paid less than someone with 3 million followers. Because the person with 3 million followers is reaching a much larger audience and would probably be helping the sales of that company significantly more. Unless you have an audience of 60,000 followers and you have a ton of engagement that is equal to someone with 3 million followers. I've seen it before. Because some accounts have a lot of... What am I doing? Because some accounts have a lot of followers and not a lot of people participate in liking their posts or commenting on their posts. Might mean they bought followers, could just mean something else, I don't know. So know that it's not a flat rate and that it will grow as you grow, because your potential to influence grows as your audience grows. And then pretty much you can see where it goes from there. You've got your foot in the door and then offers keep coming and going. And please know that you do not have to say yes to every single thing that is offered to you. In fact, you should say no frequently to things that you have no interest in using or that you genuinely do not like. I get dozens, if not over 100 emails a week just to do these sponsored videos or posts for various random companies. If you follow me on Twitter, you guys saw an email that I got recently to promote gaskets that I don't even know what but someone in China wanted me to promote gaskets. So people come from all walks of products and all kinds of... It gets weird sometimes. I am asked mostly by makeup companies to promote makeup products, but there's going to be a big range of things that you can promote depending on what community you're in. I get asked to promote hair products, I get asked to promote clothing, I get asked to promote movies, which is one of my favorite things to promote since that is my other super love next to makeup is film. I've been asked to promote hoverboards, like the list goes on. But because of that, you're not going to be able to say yes to everything. I say no to probably 95% of everything that is thrown my way, and I'd be willing to bet that that is typical of every single content creator with 1 million subscribers or up. Oh, and I should quickly mention, duh, this is kind of basic. In order to get contacted by companies, the best thing you can do is to just include a business email in the bio of your Instagram or in the About section of your YouTube channel. That way, if companies are looking to reach out, they can find a professional private means of discussing that with you to come to an agreement. I need to do some yoga. I should quickly say that if you're going to engage in any of these kinds of things, especially if it's paid, you don't necessarily have to do this for trade, although it does come up, but if you are getting paid to promote a product in a video or a post, anything like that, you want to get a written agreement that explains both sides of things and exactly what needs to be done by both sides. Contracts are where things get kind of sticky for the average content creator, I would say, because most people who are creating content are not people with law degrees. I think that companies sometimes take advantage of that in all the worst ways, or sometimes you just accidentally dig yourself into a hole because of it. So my last video is dedicated to talking about the contracts that come out of these kinds of things and what you need to look for, red flags, terms to keep your eyes out for, and ways to make some smart decisions in general in signing any kind of contract for social media related things. Also MCNs. That's the next one. Oh, and as a quick subsection to the sponsored posts and videos one is affiliate links, and I'm putting that with sponsored posts and videos because although it's not the same, it is still basically a sponsorship in which you make money. It's just a different. Basically what happens, an affiliate link or an affiliate code is when I say, enter code MIKEY20 at checkout for 20% off at this website. Not all, but most things like that you see, any codes or affiliate links where it's like, go to thisisaproduct.com/Mikey to buy your stuff, that's an affiliate link. If you see a code or an affiliate link, they are usually paid. Not always, but I would say like 95% of the time they're paid. So what that means is, let's say you get 20% off by using code MIKEY20, that means I am getting a percentage too every time you use that code. It's not always equal. You might get 20% off and I might get 10% of the total purchase price. Or you might get 20% off and I might get 20% of the purchase price. Or you might get 20% off and I might get $5 for every time it's used. Those things change from agreement to agreement and company to company. I know some people do make the majority of their earnings through codes and links like that. It depends, again, what your preference turns out to be. But affiliate codes and links are another huge way to make money, and they are approached in the same way as the sponsored video and post. And then what I'm calling just the third last section of miscellaneous stuff, where I lump a bunch of things into one because they're not really like the main ways to make money, but they are certainly very good supplemental ways that people can eventually start making money on social media, is this category, which includes getting paid to do events, appearances, going on trips, selling products like merchandise, doing collabs with companies where you sell a product, making content for companies that they will be using for other means of advertising, or being paid by companies to use your image in their advertising. So a lot of that one just comes with size and the opportunities presenting themselves. But those are other avenues in which you could be making money. So lastly, I want to quickly talk about why this is very taboo for some people and why this is not often talked about. I think it's not often talked about because people don't like talking about money in general, but I think it's important that it's talked about because it's something that would have helped me a ton in the beginning, starting out when this information was not readily available to me. I have been screwed over royally a couple times by some companies that I really genuinely liked up until that moment and trusted, and that wouldn't have happened had I been able to find out more information about these kinds of things ahead of time, or had I known what this market is like. And I think that a lot of people should know this if they are seriously looking to make this a job of theirs. So that is why I'm talking about it, despite knowing that some people will think maybe that it's tacky that I have, or whatever they're gonna think. I think the reason that it is taboo at all to get paid for social media, I think an audience has a different connection to people on YouTube than they do to traditional forms of advertising. So I think when someone is constantly 100% positively promoting all these different things, it becomes hard to differentiate what things are actually what the person thinks and what things are what the person is saying just because they're getting paid to say it. In that regard, I completely agree that that is what sucks about paid promotions or getting paid to make content. But I do not think that that means that paid promotions are inherently a bad thing. I think that that means that people doing it in a dishonest way are the bad thing. So I ask you to please not automatically knock someone for doing a sponsored or paid post, because like I said, that is not the problem. But if someone is honestly promoting products or services that they think are useful or helpful or that they like, or that for the most part they like, I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with promoting things that you don't think are 100% perfect, because how often do you think things are 100% perfect in real life? Besides scab blood, I think that's the only perfect thing in the entire world. Therefore, even if you promote something that you think has a problem with it or two, that's not a bad thing necessarily either. As long as you're honest, it shouldn't matter. A lot of companies will not want you to be 100% honest if that includes not liking something 100%, in which case, and that goes again to the next video coming about contracts and the kinds of things that you want to look out for. But if you still have an issue with someone being honest about a product that they really like and getting paid to talk about it when they probably would have anyway, or when it doesn't change their opinion anyway, then I really just don't get you. Most content creators I know are people who spend an insane amount of time on their content for their audience. That audience is usually getting it for free, and in return, they should be able to make some money somehow through some kind of means. And in the case of social media, at least directly, that often has to do with advertising. And that's just the way that it is. And it shouldn't be a bad thing, so long as it's done honestly. I'm probably sounding like a broken record, unless I've edited this perfectly. It was Doge. She's out. Beep beep. Oh, you're not! You're awake! Hello. Social media is a great avenue for you to kind of invent your own job, focused on exactly what you love doing the most. And I think any person who is able to make a living off of what they love doing is a fortunate person. So that's what I have to say. That's how I feel. If you haven't already, please check out the other videos I've done thus far in the series. There's some technical videos up here about camera and lighting, editing, and audio, and down here is the most recent video, which talks about how to gain momentum from scratch, how to brand a channel in terms of your style and what you want to achieve with your audience. This is the one you're currently watching, obviously, about how to make money, and the last one is going to be very relevant to this video, which is all about contracts and multi-channel networks. Things you're definitely gonna wanna know that is very hard to find otherwise. So, yeah, check them out. Thank you. That's all. See you next time. High five. No, I think that's the opposite of a high five. Nightly back rubs with Ripley. You want the massage? You're an internet bully! I'm afraid of you. You can't just walk up to me and make out with me. Who do you think you are?
Oh, what's going on here? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? How did you even get in such a position? Why are you chewing on your foot? You know that's your foot, right?
Did you just sit your butt in my face?
It was all a dream. I used to read Word Up magazine. Did I try it?